Hi, audience.
Hi, Ken. Hi, Ken.
My name is Casey, and we are here today to talk about the future of green energy, wind energy. The biggest concern about wind energy is how affordable is it? As you can see, after the initial startup, there is occasional maintenance that is needed, but really, in comparison to other forms of energy, the cost is minimal. As far as fuel is concerned, wind is free. It's always blowing. It's just a matter of harnessing it. The government offers green incentives for people who do choose to install green forms of energy production into their homes. The production and installation of these turbines create jobs and revenue. That is huge for our economy. We always need more jobs. We always need more revenue coming into our economy. They can go anywhere it's needed. There's no need to transport the energy through massive power lines that can cost a lot of money, not only to install but also to upkeep. Wind turbine energy is a growing industry. It has increased over 25% a year for the past 10 years. 32% of new electricity production is wind energy. That means out of all the new forms of green energy, geothermal, hydroelectric, wind energy accounts for 32% of that. It accounts for $14 billion in new investments. That's money that's going back into our economy. That's money that's going back to the American people. Those are good things that we want to hear. The production of wind turbines quadrupled from 2000 to 2006. That, again, is just evidence that this industry is already growing. It's already getting to the point that we need to pay attention to it. Wind turbine energy could account for 33% of the world energy production by 2050. There are many countries that are already ahead of us on this, that are on track to have 70% of their energy production come from wind energy. The U.S. is behind the ball on this. We need to get ourselves going and get into this industry that other countries are taking advantage of, and we're falling behind it. Again, this is just a graph to show you how much of new energy production is coming from wind turbines. This blue area is wind turbines, and this orange area is every other form, the hydroelectric, the geothermal, the solar energy. So you can see that wind energy really is a big chunk of this. It really is on the verge of exploding into something big. Some more advantages of wind turbine energy. They only require a small amount of land at the base. As you can see in these pictures, there's just a very little area of land that's affected at the bottom. That means that there's minimal impact to the environment. You don't have to drastically change the topography to install these wind turbines. A really, really great advantage of these is that farmers can lease their land out for turbines, and they'll get money back. They'll rent out their land to the power company and receive revenue. This means that if they have a bad year, if their crops don't quite go how they want them to, they still have a fallback plan. This also means that the cost of the produce is going to be lower, which gets passed on to the consumer. The turbines can actually help protect the crops. As they're turning, they're pushing the warm air down to the ground, which protects the crops from killing frosts, which means that they have more of their crops, which again gets passed on to consumers in the form of lower prices. Another great place to put these turbines is at sea. The winds at sea can be up to 33% stronger, and they're more consistent, meaning that there are less lulls in energy production and that more energy will be produced by these turbines out at sea. Another good advantage of turbines at sea is that 80% of energy consumption in the United States is along the coast of the Pacific, Atlantic, and Great Lakes. So if we have these turbines put out to sea, we don't need to transfer the electricity across the country. we can just bring it in directly from the turbines. This is also more aesthetically pleasing. You don't really have to look at them. They can be just offshore. They do tend to be more majestic, I think, if you put them out to sea. There's also home turbines. These can be used to power your home. They're called microturbines. They can provide energy to remote areas, and it allows your household to be completely independent. Again, you don't have to figure out how to get that electricity to you. You can produce it yourself. If there is a power outage, you're not going to lose power. You have your turbine. There's a low amount of maintenance after installation, meaning that it's going to be practically no bother and no cost to you. And there's also a lot of new choices coming out that are really nice. They're really more artful than they are anything else. One of those new designs is the double helix design. As you can see, it spins on this vertical shaft that allows for power generation at lower speeds. What this means is that you can use this anywhere from the Arctic Circle to the desert. It's going to produce a lot more energy, more constantly. There's wind farms along the side of highways in California, and people always, all the time, think that it's art. They don't realize that this is actually benefiting people. It's producing energy. On the other side of microturbines are megaturbines. There's a company in California called Clipper. They're making this megaturbine that you see right here. It is twice the length of a jumbo jet. As you can see, here's the airplane, and here is the wingspan of the turbine. That means it can produce 200 times more energy than the regular turbines or the current turbines that we have out now. There's also one in Europe that's being researched that could produce enough energy to power 5,000 homes. I'm sorry. There can be some noise associated with these turbines, but as you can see according to this chart, it's about the level of a refrigerator. This is about as close as they would place a turbine to a house, which is about 300 meters. As I said, it would make about as much noise as a refrigerator. But you can, again, move these out to farmlands or move them out to sea to avoid those issues. The impact on wildlife, there have been some concerns over avian deaths, but the double helix design that we talked about can cut down on that. You can also study migratory patterns to move the turbines out of the path of the wildlife, and you can change the support structure from the ladder kind of design, to a single pole, which helps prevent birds from nesting in that area. And as you can see from this graph, this is how many avian and bat deaths are caused by power lines. This is how many are caused by them running into windows. And the amount of avian deaths I can't even get to show up on this graph, because it is 1/10 of 1% of avian deaths, which is really not a big issue in the big picture. So again, pros and cons. Small amount of noise that can be associated. Some reports of avian and bat deaths, and some people don't really find them that pretty. But they're relatively very environmentally friendly. They're very economically friendly, and it's very easy to fix those small amount of disadvantages. And for those reasons, wind turbine energy is the smart choice for wind energy.